So you want to see something that's not fair? That's my boy right there. That's Dave Cox, Mr. Dave Cox. How does a 6'5", 300-something pound guy fit into that car? I don't get it. But I got an American-made car, so it's all good, right? But that is a beast right there. Dude. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Titan. It's 5 a.m. Going to the gym. Check it out. It's a full moon. Matt and Dave are gonna be at the gym because we're dedicating ourselves to fitness. One of the things that happens with longevity in the career in manufacturing is patience, right? Because there's so many times that you think that you're ready for something and you're like, I want it. And then it doesn't happen. And then all of a sudden down the road, you realize if it would have happened back then, I wouldn't have been ready for it. I would not have been able to take advantage of that opportunity. So we need to have patience because through our trials, through our problem solving, through life, it takes time to learn what we need to grow as people. Oh, headed into Lifetime right now. Go check out my boys, Matt and Dave. They're right up there. Just finished our workout. How was it?
Crushed it.
Crushed it.
Epic.
Ready for the day.
That's right.
Taking manufacturing to another level. Look at that. It's just getting light. We got to sacrifice for success.
Time change to be a little bit lighter in the mornings.
Yeah. I like it when it's dark because it's like enhances that, like, we're paying our dues, we're putting the time in, putting the work in.
That's right. People are sleeping, we're working.
That's it. You want greatness, you gotta go after it, right?
That's right. You gotta run it down,
Crush
grab
it
it by the horns, smash it into the ground and own it.
You have one life.
Right.
Let's make it happen. Everybody's like, oh, it's CNC machining and like you're just making parts. It's like, no, man, it's CNC machining, changing the absolute world, crushing parts, saving money for your customers, building your shop, making money, right?
That's right.
Just demolishing business, like competing, lifting up the tray, lifting up the kids, just, oh. All right, so this whole vlog is like morphed into something much bigger. So I put a video out and I basically asked for people to tell me what you want me to talk about. We're gonna talk about trials and valleys and going through it and how it strengthens you to actually become the man or woman that can handle what your destiny is going to allow you to do, right? But since it's getting so big and a lot of people are coming with questions, I actually asked Matt and Dave to sit at a table and help me answer those questions. So I'll start off and then they'll help out. So we won't be able to, just saying, we're not going to be able to answer every question. So please put your questions down below and we're going to literally grab every single question and then we're going to answer the ones that we can't now in future vlogs. So put your questions down, hit that like button because that allows the video to be seen by more people. So hit the like button, subscribe to our page, put comments below and tell us what you want to hear from the vlogs. All right, CNC machining, leadership, employees, how to cut crazy parts. We're here to teach you all of it, the entire game. We're gonna make it happen. Oh, let's go. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Titan, my boy Dave, Matt, Matt.
Took a drink of my water, but it's all good.
It's all good. Hey, so check this out. We're talking trials today. And one of the things that I did when I got back from the gym was I actually went out to everyone out there on social, on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and I asked questions. I basically said, I need your help. What do you want to know, right? And we have had a bunch of questions come forth, actually too many. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna answer some today and we're gonna answer some in future vlogs, but every question that is good, we're gonna answer it coming up in the future days, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So I thought it would be cool because both of these guys, they're like my right-hand guys, right? And they have each owned businesses and they've gone through trials and they've gone through a lot of different things. And because they've gone through things, it makes them valuable to me, because I don't want to, when I got somebody who's right next to me and we're trying to trailblaze forward, I gotta make sure that these guys are like tried and tested, like they understand what it is to like fall and get up and fall and get up, because that's what makes you strong in business. You guys agree?
I think we've experienced that, right?
Yeah.
It's been like smooth sailing.
Oh yeah, everything's
perfect.
I know.
glass.
I'm always like about to go through the valley. I'm like, I already went through the valley. Like, you sure we got to do this?
Yeah.
But if I
So
know
many
that I'm
valleys.
right and my feet are good and I'm planted and the light's on me, then I'm like, you know what? Let's go through this, because on the other side, there's going to be greatness waiting, because we're going to build it up, right?
Absolutely.
So one thing, I'll just start off by, I'm going to say a few things and then we'll go to the questions, all right? In my career, like I've had a hard career, right? And I came from the bottom, right? From $9 an hour and stuff. Once I was a head programmer, I worked for several companies that basically were different, and they didn't actually like see exactly what I was trying to do, right? And there's a lot of times that I felt like I was being cheated, or I felt like I wanted to quit. There's a lot of just a lot of time put into actually just every day going into the grind, right? And I'm feeling like I'm such a great programmer and I'm doing such great work, but I'm having to borrow money for gas. I'm having to I'm just struggling through life, and there was a lot of times where like I was just angry about the whole situation. I kept thinking like, I want to have my own shop. I want to have my own shop. All right. But through those situations, through growing, through problem solving every single day, through dealing with engineers and customers and bosses and just everyone, right? Co-workers and stuff. I grew thick skin. I grew, just a mentality to be able to deal with a lot of things at once. And when I ended up having my own company, I actually realized, when I looked back, I was like, that is all perfection. Because even though I worked here and I felt like I was, it just didn't work out and I felt like it was a waste of time, I learned how to build a company. I learned how to work with customers. I learned how to run electrical and run air and place machines on the floor. I learned things that I would need later in my career, right? And each company that I went to, I learned a little bit different, right? And then I just took the best from everything and put my own stuff with it, and that's how I became who I am today. And any comments on that? Like just growing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's exactly how it works, right? We take lessons from the bad stuff we go through. We take lessons from the good stuff we go through. We emulate the good, we toss out the bad, or figure out how to re-engineer it and figure out why did that go bad, right?
Yep.
And then all of those life lessons start to teach us, did I dislike this boss because of something they did? Was it situational? How could we have done that different next time? And then when you become a boss, or you become a manager or middle manager or a shop floor supervisor, or whatever you're going to be, where you now have to influence other people, you take all those lessons and you can start to empathize, right? You can start to put yourself in the shoes of the person you're probably about to blow up because they messed something up, and go, how would I want to be treated in this moment? How was I treated poorly in the past? How could I fix that moving forward? And then that applies not only to that person, but then also everything you do in business.
So
right?
every situation becomes a learning situation.
Exactly. How I
right?
deal with the customer.
Even
how
if
I deal
you're
with
on the
vendor.
high or the low
Exactly.
of the equation, right?
Yeah, it's how you respond. Like ultimately, you come to a place where either you're going to put the work in, you're going to put your feet down, you're going to get to work, or you're going to, hey, woe is me, like feel bad for me, give me something, versus fighting for it and going after it. And that's what I respect about you guys, is your story in that, and being able to say, I might be on my last count, but I'm going to put everything on the table and move forward, because that's what I believe in. That's what I know is the right choice. So that's what we have to do. We have to fight for it. And if we're not willing to fight for it, then what are we going after?
Exactly. Right? I always see people like, I always see that like kind of poor me. Like, oh, my boss sucks. Oh, my job sucks. Oh, I don't get paid. And it automatically makes me like think like, wait, what are you bringing to the table? What are you actually doing? Are you holding that and carrying that on your shoulders in? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of attitude do you have, right? Because as workers, like, we can't allow like the situations that we're in, right, to affect who we are as people. Like, if we're gonna rise to greatness, then we're gonna rise to greatness no matter what the circumstance is, right? So we don't let people bring us down. There might be a time where, you know, you're in a certain situation and just own it and be great. And if your workmanship, you got to show your workmanship and show excellence in everything you do. But it might just be for a season, and you go to another company that they actually love what you're doing and they reward you for what you're doing. And one day you're gonna look back and you're like, I actually learned a lot because this was my test. This is where I honed my craft and really like became the person that these guys actually cherish. And because I went through that, now, like, I don't take anything for granted. Like, I don't take anything for granted. Like, I know I got something good, so I'm gonna work that much harder for it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
No doubt.
Cool. So anyway, now we have some questions. I want to say, like, these vlogs are every day. We're just talking about leadership. We're talking about running shops, running tools, speeds and feeds. We're teaching you the trade. We're bringing in crazy engineers and big CEOs and just doing it every single day. We're making content, right? So please hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us build this so we can truly make an impact in our industry. All right.
Yep.
So we're going to our questions. Question number 1.
Cool. This one's from Instagram. So thanks, guys, for writing in for us. So this is from Brendan M56. He says, "Hey Titan, my father owns a smaller machine shop. We have under 15 employees and 4 CNC mills and 2 CNC lathes. I'm not 100% sure I want to take it over when my father retires. How do you know if you were meant for the industry or if you were just accustomed to it because one grew up with it?"
Oh, that's like
The hard one to start off with.
I know, like, boom, like
get
bringing
into
the heat right from the beginning. But I think that story
So funny.
is in shops all across every city, across the entire United States and across the world, really, right? So what I would say is that, look, like I was murdering it. I worked so hard to get into this trade, and I was going after it, and I was successful, and I literally got lost until the downfall happened and everything was like taken from me. As soon as it was taken from me, I realized how great it was. And during my valley, I started looking around, and all the people that I used to compete and I used to like crush in like competition, meaning machining parts and bidding against them, like all of a sudden I had a heart for them because I realized they were only running at a certain percentage, right? So I found my purpose, like with understanding that all these companies had gone out of business and our industry needed help. So as soon as I found my purpose, then all of a sudden my love for the industry became greater, and then I started just running hard forward to where we are today, right? So I would say that what's the person's name again?
It's Brendan.
Brendan?
Yep.
So Brendan, like, what is your purpose, right? You can work in many different companies, but unless you actually have a vision and a purpose in life, you will never be satisfied, right? We can buy ourselves everything, but that really, like, it doesn't make our life any greater, right? When we serve others and we have purpose about it and we have a vision and we lift other people up, that is when we are fulfilled, and that's when we feel like we're actually making a contribution that's worthy of us living on this planet, right? So I would say, what is your purpose? So I run parts just like you guys. I don't have a massive shop, but we worked hard with purpose and vision in mind, right? And I sold that vision to my employees, and I put everybody together to run on the same path to actually make a difference in this trade. And all of a sudden now, like, it's not about that clock, it's not about time, it's not about money, it's about achieving our goals, right? So what can you do in this trade to actually make a difference? What can you do to actually take your company and actually use it to not only provide for your family, but to rise up and lift others up at the same time? Because when you start figuring out how to solve these problems and you find that purpose and path in life, all of a sudden you wake up motivated in the morning and you go to sleep motivated and you can't even sleep because you're thinking about things, right? So right now it's your dad's purpose, it's your dad's shop, but if he's gonna give you a seed like that, something that it's very few people get the opportunity to have their own company, right? You don't have to run it like your dad did. How are you going to run it, and how are you going to use it to change lives, change your own life, your family's lives, and make a difference in this world? Find that purpose, and I think that you'll see that having that shop would be amazing. If not, then maybe you're built to go and do something else, but purpose. Anything to add?
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone. That's
Exactly.
kind of like what you're saying. It's like, don't allow what's in front of you right now to dictate the future, because you're the next generation. You're the one that's going to be innovative. You can bring new tools, new employees, new strategies to build a business beyond what you ever imagined, maybe even what your dad ever imagined. So don't limit yourself based on what's in front of you right this second, but look forward and plan forward and be strategic and start a small group. Train your own employees for what you want the future of the workforce
Academy,
to be.
small groups, changing the world.
You can build the foundation for what will be an endless future of possibilities right now.
Yeah, so that's it. My dream was to have a couple of mini mills in my garage, and now I get to sit with huge CEOs of billion-dollar companies who are thanking us for what we're doing for the industry. You know what I mean? So it doesn't take money, it takes vision and a heart to walk through anything to accomplish your goals and stuff.
Yep.
And so make it happen. And again, what he just said, it doesn't have to be your dad's shop. How can you bring in automation? How can you actually solve problems to actually make your customers money? Because when you solve problems and your head actually put everything in place, then you start having fun, and then there's just not enough time in the day. Right?
Absolutely.
Anything to add on that one?
No, I mean, you guys covered most of it. It's just, this is not a industry specific issue. This exact scenario happens in every industry, every business, every spot you could work has this scenario. And I know that because that was my scenario growing up. My dad was a graphic designer, did creative stuff his whole life, and I was like, I saw what he did. I didn't like the way he did it. I didn't love, that style of like this lone wolf going and hunting stuff down and only being as good as the last thing you brought in. That didn't seem like a life for me. Now, he did teach me, and one of the main things to do is, number one, respect and appreciate the knowledge that your dad has transferred. Respect and appreciate the people who've gone before and shown the way of how they did it, so you can then, like you're saying, adapt it and move forward how you're going to. My career path went off into IT and HR and all these different things before it eventually circled back to creative.
Boom.
What I knew the best. Now I'm branding and creative operations guy.
Make it happen.
And that's what I do, like
Making
every
the academy
day.
sexy.
Exactly.
Bringing sexy back.
That's right. Every day. And so I get to do similar things to what my dad did, but I'm doing it a completely different way. I'm doing it with other people surrounding me. I'm very much a people person. He was very much a lone wolf, kind of a, what do you call him, like an introvert, right? Mm-hmm. So he didn't like being around a ton of people, and that worked for him. Didn't work for me. So find the thing that works for you, change it up how you need it to be, but don't look that gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah,
You'll regret
exactly.
that.
And I'll leave it with this also. Business is hard. And until you actually risk everything, until you actually almost lose everything, until you have the understanding that if you make the wrong decision, the future of your whole family will be like, on ice, right? And you can just lose everything. Until you sit in those shoes, you can never truly understand them. Yeah. But once you sit there, and once you climb Mount Everest, when you're on the top, when you are that shop owner, Like there's a pride in it that nobody, you can explain it, but people just won't understand, right? So to say that you're gonna walk away from being that, maybe not doing everything your dad did, but understanding how he feels about that business and feeling like, you know what, I can actually bring those changes. Gift horse, you know, I get it. Like, boom, just make it happen. All right.
All right. Next one. You ready? Now this is a softball. This is a little bit less deep than that last one. But
All right. We went heavy, but it was important.
Yeah.
Brendan,
Valuable.
don't stop watching. All right. Alejandro Perez on Instagram
Instagram.
is asking, running parts at max speed is cool and all, but what about tool life on high production manufacturing? Do we stay killing it or slow it down for production's sake?
Murder is the case at the gate. No, just no. Hey, check this out. All the time I got people, like, we put out these videos and we can't show all of our aerospace parts, right? So I put these videos out and we don't have a huge budget. So we're trying to do the best that we can. People are always like, man, I'm telling you, you're running at 800 inches a minute, you're gonna break your machine, or your ways are gonna break, or this is gonna break. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how are you gonna keep tolerances? I'm like, it's a roughing pass, right? So I deal with this, so I love this question because I get to answer it. Machining is an art. It is an absolute art. And every person has their workmanship, right? These tools are amazing. Each machine has so many different variables, right? From the rigidity in the table into the spindle to your work holding, the material that you're machining, the tool that you're using. And these tools have actually been designed to actually cut fast. The problem is most people, were running so slow that they still only run the tools at 20-30% of their capabilities, right? So we always measure by minutes in cut to see how long a tool can last. But if you're like in aluminum or plastic or something, or even soft steels and stuff, I mean, you can run hard for a long time, right? And even when it comes to like Inconel and titanium, like there is a how many minutes in cut can you actually do it, right? So if we're doing the Kennametal Harvey 3, like I know that this tool lasts hours in cut at 400 surface foot, 0.0053 chip load. Like I have that information banked, right? And we're roughing, okay? So when we take apart, let's attack it. Let's make sure all our variables are like good, right? We got that Synergy 735 coolant on there. We got everything happening. And then let's murder that material and get it done 10 times faster, all roughed out, right? But then all of a sudden, we're just gonna relax that pressure, let it move, and through experience, we're gonna know exactly where it moves, so we leave the right amount of material, and then we're gonna drop those RPMs, we're gonna drop everything, and we're gonna come back and we're just gonna kiss it. Just gonna kiss it, like we're just gonna kiss it. And we're gonna bring that tolerance in, and we're gonna take it out, and we're gonna have pride that not only did we rough, fast, and hard, but we came back and we kissed it right into tolerance, right into tense, right? And then we delivered a part that was of crazy quality where our customers can basically be like, you know what, this is like jewelry. All right, so whenever you guys hear me saying run hard, run hard, run hard, I'm always saying like rough as hard as you can, understanding the tool's capabilities, talk to the companies that actually make the tools, find out where they say that it should be, and then measure in cut, like get the timing down. How long does it actually take? And rough, make that money. Because if you're running at 100 inches a minute and you can run at 800 inches a minute, right? Then that's 8 times faster, and you can actually go lower and actually create lower on price and actually create like a good profit, right? Even if you're at 400 inches a minute. So like roughing, like we don't do everything at 800, but at 300-400, that's just normal. That's just normal. But then come back and kiss it and bring in that quality and make it beautiful. So rough hard, finish, and kiss it. But at the same time, instead of using a 3 flute to like do it, maybe you're using a 5 flute. Maybe you're using a 6 or 7 flute to actually come back and kiss it fast because you have the extra flutes, the extra rigidity, and it's just good. All right, so time and a place.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all about the process. I mean,
It's all about the process.
You have to understand. You have to document it for your employees, document it for your shop. Every machine, every tool has a specific process, and that's what you've
Exactly.
always set up. It's like there's documentation for this.
Exactly.
Everyone isn't just like randomly running the machines as hard as they can.
Yeah.
There's a process in place to know which material, what tool, and how you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say like one thing that I'll say also is that all your machinists, they basically they can't just run the way they want to run, because you have everything documented. You have the tool documented, the time and cut documented, the speeds and feeds documented for each type of material. You find out what is best, you document it, you bank it, and then the whole team works off that.
Yep.
Right? And if somebody wants to challenge it, you let them challenge it. Or you got something better, show me. If not, this is the way that we're doing it. All right?
You know, the thing that strikes me about this too, you guys play youth sports when you were
Yeah.
kids?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're out there. Not every day is a game. Sometimes we have practices in between. Sometimes when we're kids, we laze around. We don't run as fast as we can after the ball. What does the coach say? The number one thing, you play how you practice.
Yeah.
And so the part of the question that hit me, Alejandro, was running parts at max speed is cool and all, but stop there, because we're not just doing it because it's cool, right? You're doing it because we're practicing. You have to feel how it works. You have to watch the videos, see how this man runs these things. The first time I saw it, I was blown away. I don't even know this world, but I was like, holy crap, this is legit. I saw that thing go at 100, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Gets up to like 300-400. I'm like, all right, 800, boom. What the hell was that?
But let me just say, it's all about attitude too.
That's awesome.
Like 100 is like depressed.
Right. Seriously. Asleep.
yeah.
And you're just like, oh, what time is this gonna done? You know, 200 is like, brr, and you're like, oh, what am I gonna do tomorrow? And then 300 is like, brr, and you're like, oh, what's up? And 400 is like, brr, machine gunning chips against the back, and you're awake and you're into your job, and like, 800 is like,
Felt like my car.
boom, you know what I mean? So like, again, run fast, run hard, and then how many parts can you actually make? And we're not breaking the machines. Just letting you know, we're not breaking our machines. I've only changed out a few spindles, and dude, it's all good. The amount of money we've made, the amount of bids we've like just taken from people and stuff because we run fast and save them money, and the marketing behind that, it's all worthwhile.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool. Next.
Cool. Next one's from Instagram as well. So we'll get to some other platforms here in a second. But it's from BRYTEW. And it says, how did you balance family life and being a business owner at the beginning? I'm sure there was a whole lot of time spent at work trying to make it.
So, check this out.
Big question.
I started my shop. Mr. Jeff Weaver on my night shift was my lone investor. Everybody turned me down, and this guy who I had hired working at another company basically gave me his life savings, and that was the start of my company. I understood that like basically like if I failed, he would have nothing, and that I just understood that this was my one opportunity to actually make it, right? So I went after it, and we put a bed in the shop, put a TV in the shop. I've had my 4 machines. I fixtured the machines so that I could actually run a lot of parts at a time, so that one person could actually run 4 machines. And basically my wife and kids would come and visit me, and we would watch movies, and then the machines would stop, my timer would go off, I'd go change all the parts, and I'd go back, watch movies, change parts on an hourly basis. And basically I ran like 24 hours a day. Like I lived at the shop, and my family just came and visited, and that was our chance to change the course of our lives, right? And I'll get a little personal right now. Like my 2 older sons are still in Hawaii. Like I had been in prison. I had like 30,000 arrears from child support that I was paying off for when I was in prison, right? And it's like I just knew like this was my opportunity to make a difference in my life and my family's life, and possibly bring my kids up, right? Meaning Tyson and Chris and stuff. And we put the time in, worked 24 hours a day. I didn't complain about any of it. I absolutely loved it. I loved when people came in and like, dude, you cranked out that many parts, like how many people? And I'm like, oh yeah, Jeff comes in, I'm here. You know what I mean? We have a couple people, right? And we just killed it and stuff. But at the end of the day, after my first year of business, putting that time in, in 10 months, we made $1 million. And I literally went to child support and with a $30,000 check, and I paid off my child support, and then I sent money to Hawaii and then moved my kids over. And so all that hard work allowed my whole family to come together. So if you have an opportunity to have your own company, put the work in, don't complain, do absolutely what it takes, because it can change your entire life. And if you go mediocre, you will be mediocre, and you can lose everything. So it's all go.
Yeah. It's, I mean, you look at it too, it's like what I love about your story, and I can relate, I'm sure you can too. It's like your family was invested as much as you were, because you set the vision, right? And the same thing, I'm sure there's many wives out there do the same thing for their families, but it's like you set the vision and you say, do you believe in where we're headed? And can you jump on board? If not, let's reverse it, let's change course. But you and your story too, it's like you and Gina said, this is what we want to go after. We see the potential, it's going to be huge, it's going to make a huge impact on our family, and so you guys invested the time that was necessary. I think that's like the most valuable thing, and it's a matter of like an ongoing conversation too, because there's times where you're going to put in more hours. You have to be able to talk to your wife and say, listen, like, I need to spend more time here. What do you think about that? And you're having this ongoing conversation that's going to be a relationship, right? And you adjust course if you need to, if you back down, or there's just it's an organism, right? You're always kind of living, it's changing, it's you filling out what's right for your family at that particular time.
And you're a vice president on the side of me, and you're extremely busy, and I respected also that when I asked you, and I kind of expect, I'm like, we're gonna have to like put time in, we're gonna do this, you always come back and you're just like, a lot of times you just do it, but then you're like, hey, let me go talk to my wife, let me talk, because you understand that it's gonna be a strain on her also to have you gone for a week, because we're out like trying to change the world or something, right?
It's finding that balance.
This is an amazing question, honestly, because a lot of people, most people want to be in a relationship, right? Whether it's marriage or dating or engaged, something like that. And what it really comes down to for me, and it's a longer story that goes pretty deep and pretty painful, but I learned some really hard, really, really hurtful lessons, okay? What I learned from starting my business and running it is that my personality type cannot do well being the number one, okay? Some people aren't cut out to be the number one. Some people, they get there, they cannot balance home and life, and that's what a lot of people end up dealing with. So what it all came down to for me, what I realized was it's about commitments and honoring commitments. In business, we make commitments to our clients. It's going to be this price, it's going to be at this timetable, I'm going to hit your deadline, I'm going to do it again and again and again. We have to honor our commitments to our vendors. You're going to give me this, I'm going to give you that, and to our employees. And as business owners, we can sometimes allow those commitments to outweigh the commitments that we make to our family, right? And that's where priorities come in. But you have to realize that if you're going to make a commitment to your vendor, to your client, how much more important are the people that love and support you back home? And everybody has to understand, everybody has to be on the same page. That's a conversation with your spouse. Hun, my wife, beautiful. I'm going to make a commitment to you that when I make a commitment to you,
or your husband,
I'm never going to, or your husband, right? I'm never going to miss that commitment. The same way, if I make a commitment to one of our clients or one of our vendors, I'm not going to miss that. And that has to be respected, and then it has to be lived up to, because if you start breaking commitments to your spouse, but keeping commitments to your vendors, disaster. Don't do that. That's what I got.
That's awesome.
Last one.
Last one's
We're almost
from
done.
Instagram, Spiv34. Spiv34. What's up, brother? Or sister? How do you deal with terrible employees? And I'm reading this with emphasis. I know you wrote it with. How do you deal with terrible employees? There are some folks that don't care at all about the parts they make. They don't care how much money the company is losing on them. When you get after them and try to teach them how, show them what they did wrong, they treat it like it's a joke. And worse, there are folks that are just plain dishonest and have no accountability. These are the kind of people I'm currently relying on to make it happen, and it just seems impossible.
Oh,
Spiv
man.
34, brother.
So this is something I actually hear a lot of, you know, and it's touching. I've had to separate myself from many employees that I've like really cared about, right? But I've had to say that, you know, quality is the most important thing in my shop. And as a leader, I've had to like stick by those words, meaning like how my inspection department runs, how my floor runs, how clean everything is, how my guys are dressed, how my documentation is. Like from the very beginning, I present excellence and I expect excellence, nothing less, right? And if somebody goes off path, I actually work with them to get them back on, but I let them know what the vision is of the company, right? So I've had people that, you know, as we have a vision to actually go into education, and we have a vision of excellence, and we have a vision of teaching our younger generation, those that didn't have that vision and actually wouldn't actually help teach and wouldn't actually help the vision and didn't really care about things, like I ended up like having to separate myself from those employees because if you have a couple bad apples in a bunch, it's going to bring everything down and your culture is going to come down, right? So basically, I had to make sure that it came from the top down, that people respected me, respected what I was about. They understood that I wasn't playing. And then I created my team. And then every time I brought somebody in, I made sure that they understood exactly what I would be tolerated, exactly what we expected, and I let them know that this is not just a regular job. Like, this is a job. Here's the vision. This is where we're going. We're all going as a team, and we're going to work together to get there. Mm-hmm. So instead of looking at the clock, they started looking at the machines and looking at me, looking at my leadership, looking at everything just in a different way, and they became passionate, right? So you got to get them vested in. And if somebody is lying, stealing, cheating, doing anything, you got to let them go. I mean, that's just the plain truth of it. And go through the standard process of, you know, writing them up, mm-hmm. telling them exactly what's going to happen. Make sure you do it professionally, but your company is not worth it, right? We were talking about Academy small groups.
Right, absolutely.
What was a couple of comments we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, it was that, you know, if you're looking for people, because obviously it sounds like you're going to need to cut some folks loose, right? And you can't really you have to set the expectation first, right? You can't hold them to a standard they don't understand. So if you've made that clear, then it's time to cut them loose, absolutely.
And you're taking care of your responsibilities
right.
by you know, staying on the cutting edge, by keeping your place clean, by actually caring about your shop and your employees, so you're walking the walk. If that's where you are, then basically...
Yeah. Then it's time to cut them loose. Like, if they don't have what it takes and they're messing stuff up, like you said, but then you're going to have to replace these folks, right? Okay. So where do you find good people in the industry that don't lie, that don't cheat, that don't steal, that don't cut corners, that do it the way that you want it? And what we're thinking is, we've been talking about it, is that the Academy small groups are a great spot, an incredible spot to find people like that. Because the people that go to the small groups, that go to the Academy small groups, those are people who are investing in themselves. Terrible employees, you'll never find a bad employee investing in themselves outside of work, coming to work, and being a crap employee, right? Exactly. You're only going to find people who want to better themselves. So if you're looking in that area, go to the website, look at the map. You can see exactly where, you know, all the small groups are. Find one near you, and if there's not one near you,
start one.
Super easy. Yeah. Start one.
Yeah.
And we understand the obstacles with that, right? But it's like you need to overcome those obstacles to achieve what you expect and what you desire. So you need to put the work in. You create a small group. Like talk to John Schaefer, a guy that's he's
John
put
Schaefer, small group number 1.
John's legit.
He's put everything on the line and created this small group and built a community that's making a tremendous impact right there in his town. So it's an option. It's available. You have to be creative. You know, this isn't just like, you can't buy it and just implement it. Like you need to put the work in, but there's an opportunity there to solve the problem that you have.
Yeah.
So.
That's the exact thing that you're always talking about. We're always trying to push is if a solution doesn't exist, if you can't find a solution, be the solution.
Be the solution.
Start a group. Be it.
Yeah. So let me just explain a couple things. One would be John Schaefer, Academy number 1, small group, and everybody knows them that's on our Facebook group. So the only thing good on Facebook, which has been written about, like, is there's probably other good things, but look, we got a private group called Titans of CNC Academy. We got 23,000 members in there. We got people from Lockheed and Boeing and Northrop and Walt Disney and high schools all over, and teachers, hobbyists, students, and great machinists all collaborate together to solve other people's problems, right? And the teachers are able to like collaborate together and figure out how to teach the Titans of CNC Academy curriculum, right? So I would strongly suggest getting into this group, right? It's like a support group, and it's amazing. Also on Titans of CNC Academy, academy.titansofcnc.com, if you go to resources, go to small groups, go into there. There's a frequently asked questions. Read about all of it. That's where it really discusses what a small group is. Anybody can be a group because you have free curriculum, and because we do it with tutorials, the tutorials can be done by students at home because Fusion 360 is free. You can also download Fusion from our resources. So basically we've created a free platform that allows people to learn at home and come in a machine. So shops all over the world are creating Academy small groups. It's like in-house training, and they're opening their doors to people from the outside and teaching the trade to them by doing the building blocks and the rockets and becoming part of this community, right? And just like Dave was just saying, the people from the outside that are coming to these groups, they want to learn how to manufacture. They want to better their lives. They want to better and hone their skills, right? They have a purpose in mind and a reason why they're coming. And those guys are not going to want to screw up if they get an opportunity, right? So just like Dave said, you gotta make the tough decisions. You gotta make sure that your place is worthy, right? That you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and either go to a small group local and say, I want to hire people from there, a Titans of CNC Academy small group, or start your own small group, and it will change your life. Every person that does it, every owner, it changes their lives, and they just love seeing people come on a Monday night or a Saturday morning and actually learn how to actually machine parts, and it's just blowing up. And companies like Kennametal and Mighty Bite, they're giving like the tooling away like at cost, and we're just solving big problems, changing the industry from the inside out. Right? Cool.
Small task we decided to take on.
Small task, you know what I mean? Lift up the industry, make it happen, go after it all, right?
That's right, man.
All right, we good?
Yeah, gym tomorrow morning?
Gym tomorrow morning,
all right.
5 o'clock. Right, so, hey guys, I just want to say, like, I love you guys. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like the video. Please tell people about it. We're just going to be doing this. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for anything. We just want to have an opportunity to touch as many lives as possible and teach them the trade, from machining to philosophy to leadership to being employees, everything, how to machine Inconel, titanium, steel, aluminum, anything. We're going to be teaching you guys, and please support our cause, all right? Thank you very much.
Boom.
And we're out.
Boom.
Boom.